Here we are on REDSEC, and I'm going to give you guys every single setting that I think is important for this. It's different to multiplayer, so we're going to switch some things up. But I want to say quickly here that I actually like this screen. The screen's actually kind of nice to look at. But anyways, we're going to go over to the settings tab. I'm going to go into graphics. I'm going to go into controller. I'm going to go into gameplay. We're going to talk about a few things there. Audio, I mean, we can just go through audio really quick. I recommend music volume high, soldier and campaign at 60, and commander at 80. All right, so pretty high, not too high, but 60 is nice. And then sound effects and master volume, this is what you want set all the way at 100. Okay, that's basically it. Master volume is going to set all of these basically to 100 at default until you lower them, and then sound effects volume, this is footsteps, grenades, gunshots, all that kind of stuff. You want that as loud as possible. Okay, so that's what I'm going to recommend in audio. Not much else to change. Go ahead and do it. And I have 3D headphones on and high dynamics and audio and background off. All right, so basically that's about it. In the graphics tab, there's gonna be a few things you guys want to change here for sure. So world brightness, if your game is looking washed out and white and gross, make sure you lower it. If your game is looking too dark and you can't really see enemies in corners, make sure you put it higher, all right? You got to find the balance on your monitor, on your TV screen. I can't tell you guys what to set this at. It's what you guys, what looks good on your screen. Mine could be completely different to yours. All right, field of view. This is important. I spoke about this to you guys the other day. Just yesterday, I think I made a video on it. Field of view is going to help you guys see the rest of the map, help you guys see the sides and stuff when you're running around. It's really nice to have this kind of high, but not too high. You don't want it too high where the enemies just feel small and super distant, but you don't want it too low either where you just can't see horizontally too much either, all right? So make sure you guys set this as something nice. 108 is good. If you guys want 105, 105 is good as well. 110, whatever you guys find that's near this is pretty good as well, so make sure you do that. Weapon field of view, I have it set to narrow. I feel like when the gun is a little bit smaller and you see a little bit more of the map, it just works out again in your favor in case someone's just camping somewhere and you really don't see them. I mean, it's really rare, but honestly, I just prefer narrow. Weapon motion blur, I'm gonna recommend 0. I keep mine at 50. Psychologically, that's the only reason I keep it at 50, and that's because I feel like when I'm looking around the map, if my weapon is in focus, my brain is going to focus on that weapon, even if I don't mean to do it, even if it's all subconsciously. I'm still going to be focusing on that weapon if it's in focus. Take a picture, for example. If you take a picture of a person, but you don't blur the background, everything's in focus. Your brain sees everything. But if you blur that background, you now see only that person in the picture. That's the same thing with the weapon here, right? My weapon, or my world motion blur, I leave off, and my weapon motion blur, I leave on a bit so that my brain automatically forgets the weapon is there and sees the whole world. So if an enemy's hiding in a window and I wouldn't notice them, well, now I have just a slight chance of noticing them more. This is all just what I think, all right, guys? This is not, it's not something that's been studied or anything. It's just, that's how I see it, all right? So I leave mine at 50. You don't have to. 0 is nice as well. Camera shake amount, the least you could go is 50, so make sure you do that. Reduce sprint camera bobbing, turn this on so that you can reduce it. And then chromatic aberration, I don't even know what that is. Turn it off. All I know is that it turns, the blurring of the edges and all that and small objects and all that, it's good to have, all right? Vignette, you want this off as well. That's like, it just looks ugly. And then film grain looks even uglier. I don't know why games keep offering this. I guess it's cinematic. I don't know. Turn that off as well, all right? I also play on borderless, and my vertical sync is off as well. You guys might not have all these settings. I play on a monitor and I play on PC, not on a console or TV or anything, so it might be different to you guys, and that's why I said, especially for the world brightness, you guys gotta kind of just play with this one until it looks good. After that, we're gonna go over to, let's go to gameplay, and then I'll go to controller right after that, all right? Let's get this out of the way too. I didn't change much here. I have my hold toggle set, and that's basically it, I think. I don't really think I changed. Okay, my infantry aim assist, but I was going to talk about this afterwards when we go into controller. We might as well talk about it now because it is here. Infantry aim assist, I set it to 45. If you put this all the way up to 100, I mentioned this again in my previous videos and stuff. I'm not going to show it right now because I don't have the time for it. But if you put this up to 100, your aim assist, the actual game's aim assist is slow. It's too fast, I should say. It doesn't stick to enemies nicely. You move your joystick just a little bit and it detaches from the enemies really, really fast. So the lower you put this, I wouldn't go lower than 45. I used to recommend 30, but that's too slow. But the lower you put this, the stickier your aim assist feels. So make sure you guys put that on as well. And then the double tap forward to sprint, I have this on. I don't recommend it. It's just the way I play my button layout and all that. I jump with R3 by pressing the right joystick, and I crouch and prone and all that with L3 pressing the left joystick. Again, if you're not comfortable with that, I don't recommend it. So you guys don't need to change this right here. And then parachute auto deploy. I have mine on always, and that's because a lot of the times I'll be on my phone when the game's loading in and stuff. I'm going to forget, and I'll just I'll just fall to the ground. And I don't want that, all right? Or I'll get distracted and I'll just fall to the ground. So for me, having this on, oh, what the heck just popped up? Nothing. I don't even see anything. To me, having this always on just works out better in my favor. Peek type, I have disabled. I just really don't care about peeking too much. Helicopter control assist, I turned it off. You can turn it on. I just personally turned it off. Infantry aim input curve. I play it on BFV, and this is something I'm going to recommend as well. This is something you guys want to play on. It's a very nice curve type. It's close to standard, close to linear almost. It's not too bad, and I personally think it's the best in the game in my opinion. So try it out. Infantry aim assist. Set this to 100, and then infantry aim assist slowdown, you can set to either 100 or 90. But remember, when you change the infantry aim assist slowdown to 90, it's 10 digits away from 100. It brings this down by 10% roughly. If I were to change this to 80, it would be 20 digits away from 100, and it would bring this down by 20%. All right, so whatever you have this on, just know that if you have this at 90, it's going to go down 10%. So if I put this to 90 here as well, it's not actually going to be 90. The stickiness is going to remain 90 and all that. The aim assist stickiness is going to remain 90, but everything else after that is going to, it's going to be 81 because now it's 10%. Actually, it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be around 80, 81. So honestly, just leave it at 100. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I did explain it in another video a lot better than I am right now. Set this to 100 as well if you have no idea what I'm talking about. It's not going to change much. Personally, though, I like 90. And that's why I said at that. Everything else is just basically the same. And then in the controller tab, we're going to open that up right there. We got controller settings, which I'm going to go into. And that's basically going to be it for the video because this is what I think is one of the most important pages. I could have went in here first because it has a lot of important stuff, but I would have missed a few things as well. So like I said, infantry aim sensitivity, we're going to leave at 45. At least for me, it feels good. Field of view, 108. I would recommend anywhere between 100 and 115. Those are good digits to stick to. I'm going to stick with 108. Vertical aim ratio, I have mine set to 50, all right? This adjusts the vertical aim to horizontal aim ratio for vehicles. It's only for vehicles, so you don't have to worry too much, but basically it's just when you're looking left and right or up and down and stuff, it kind of adjusts it in that sense. Again, you don't really have to do it, but it's something I would recommend as well. Now, the zoom sensitivity, what is that? Sensitivity. Coefficient, I'm going to set to 180. A lot of people have 178 by default. That's fine. That's perfect. That's actually really good. But then I see a lot of people lower this to like 120 or put it too high to like 2 something. Guys, don't do that. All right. You don't want this all the way up here, for example. All right. And you also don't want it all the way down. So for me personally, 180 is a very solid spot. I played on 120. I think when this game first came out, I recommended like 140 or something. I take that back. Do not do it. 175 to 180 is actually really good. Okay, so it's basically it's a sensitivity of uniform infantry aiming zoom, so it's gonna work together with the infantry aiming and stuff. But personally, just leave it as is. And this as well. The infantry aim assist, leave it at 100. Okay, don't drop this. Don't drop this. Leave this at 90. This is the stickiness. You want this at 100. If you lower this, the stickiness and all that gets lowered as well. Do not lower this whatsoever. Infantry aim assist slowdown, you could lower it just a little bit. Infantry aim input curve, like I said, BFV is the best. Some people don't have the option for just BFV, and I get that. It depends on the system you're playing on. But if you have like BFV, BF4 in one option, set that. Whatever option gives you BFV, set it to that, even if it's tied together with another one, all right? So make sure you guys set that, and you're going to be good. Stick input acceleration presets, I have BF4, BF3, BFBC, which is bad company. I'm going to leave it as is. I like it here. I'm going to recommend it 100% of the time. Aiming left or right acceleration, 20. I don't know why. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know why. Someone said to set it to this. One of my buddies told me to set it to this. I set it to this. It's nice. So I'm going to leave it as is. I don't know why, but I'm going to leave it as is. Double tap forward to sprint. This is what I have on so that, because my L3 is now to crouch and to prone, so I can't press it to sprint. So I double tap my forward sprint button and it sprints automatically, all right? So I have it set to auto sprint anyways, so just moving it forward, 99% of the time it auto sprints, but half the time it kind of does glitch out. And I just have it to L forward. That's what I have my sprint to. Not L right, not L left, anything like that. L forward, and I'm going to sprint. My slide is now L3, which I think is really nice. And then we got my zoom at L1, and all that kind of stuff. Now, zoom aim sensitivity. This is important. This is going to help you with your aim assist and stickiness as well, okay? So from 1x zoom all the way to 1.25, this is your slight scopes, your little tiny scopes and all that kind of stuff, and your iron sight right here and some scopes as well. I'm going to recommend 60. It's nice, it's not too slow, and it's going to stick to enemies pretty well. After that, we got 150 time to 175, I play at 63, and then 2 to 250, I play at 65, and then everything above a 3 time, I'm gonna leave at 100, okay? So this is really good right here. The sensitivity, the higher your scope is, you could change it to, you could put this to like 75, and then you could put these to like 80, or whatever's comfortable for you. But personally, I feel like this is really solid right here. These are most of the type of weapons I use. I'm not really picking up snipers and stuff, so this for me is really, really nice to do, all right? And it just feels good. It feels sticky. It feels nice. Like we said, parachute auto deploy always, skip revive, we have it set to toggle, and blah blah blah, peak type disabled. All right, so that's basically it. I want to go into one last thing here, and that is infantry buttons. So we have it set to custom, and then we got the infantry and passenger control mapping. We're gonna go into this just to show you guys what I have set. All right, so right here, walk forward is L, walk backwards, whatever is L, all that kind of stuff, right? But this here is also tied to my sprint, which I showed you guys before. But right here, my jump is R3, my jump, quick upgrade, whatever, all that, they're both set to R3, okay? The reason for this is because I don't have back paddles on my controller. If I want to jump, I don't want to take my finger off my joystick, especially if I'm jumping in gunfights, because it's just going to mean I can't aim while doing so. So I have it set to R3 so my finger can never leave my joystick, and I can perform all those actions. My sprint is L forward, and then my crouch and all that kind of stuff is L3, okay? So my prone, I gotta kind of fix it, because this right here, crouch, hold, and toggle, set to L3, I'm not really happy with. So this one right here, I might actually take off, because my prone is a toggle anyways, and it kind of glitches out sometimes. So I'm gonna have to fix that. But for the most part, that's what I do right there. And then for my fire and my zoom, I fire with L1 rather than R2, or R1, sorry, rather than R2, and I zoom in with L1 rather than L2. Again, these are just preferences. These buttons are smaller, they feel faster, they feel good for me, so that's what I'm gonna do. And then now my melee, because I can't use R3, is going to be X, and that should be basically it. And then right here, yeah, that's basically all I have set. And that's because I don't have back paddles on my controller. I don't really like back paddles much, never did, I don't think I ever will, and that's why I set it to this. It does take some time to get used to, but it is what it is. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, those notifications turn on. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Nick, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.